Hello.
Hi.
Sorry.
I have it so many places, so I can participate in the chat. Hello, everyone. We're live.
Hi, everyone. Sorry if it scared anybody, but I did that to Olivia earlier this week, so I had to do it again. Happy birthday. I'm just going to scare you every day forever.
I love it. I think we're on a lag, which is like really complicated, and I'm going to turn my phone.
I turned my chat thing, just like I made it dark. I muted it, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and forth.
Great.
Welcome, everyone. You said that.
I see so many wonderful names. My aunt is here.
Oh, Olivia's aunt. I don't know. Welcome, everyone, to Olivia's birthday, to 30 Poems for 30 Years. I think I said that wrong.
I don't care.
30 for 30 by ESPN.
30.
Welcome. Thank you. We are sponsored. Not really. This event is put on by Wizards in Space, which, if you know Olivia, you know Wizards in Space. I almost feel like I don't have to explain, but it is an incredible literary magazine. You will hear from a lot of the writers featured in it tonight. You'll also hear from me separately, but that's not going to be there are a lot of amazing poets, and I'm also here, and I'm so happy to be here for my friend's birthday. We're also donating. We're raising money tonight for 826 National, which is a really cool organization for young writers. Olivia, do you want to tell us a little about
it? Yeah, so 826 National is a young writers community program nonprofit, and they have chapters all through the country, mainly like some of the larger cities, Boston, San Francisco, LA, New York, and they really make writing fun for a lot of inner city kids. So all of their like storefronts are secret entryways. And they all have like a mask on them. So the one in New York, I think, is like a time travel store, but you go in and actually it's a writing community center. And the one in Boston was like a Find Bigfoot community center, which is awesome. So you go in and there's all this like safari stuff because you're supposed to be finding Bigfoot, but really it's a like writers community, which is so awesome. So we're raising money for them tonight. I wanted to pick a nonprofit that aligned with the mission of Wizards in Space and aligned with something that was really close to my heart, but still helped the Black Lives Matter movement, especially young kids, to find their voice and find their passion. So that is why we're donating to 826 National. There is a link that is on the Facebook group. I worked with 826 National to make sure we were donating directly to them. So all of the profits from your donations, except for probably like taxes, not taxes, credit card fees, are going straight to them. So I didn't want to use Facebook. I didn't want to use a third-party site, because that meant that the nonprofit wasn't going to get all of your money. So we went right through them, and they know we're doing this, and they're really thankful and happy. So if we can all donate just like $5, we'll make a difference, and that would make my birthday everything. So.
Yeah, I love that, and I love how, like you said, it aligns so well with Wizards in Space. It seems like a perfect organization and a really great lineup. So that link should also be in the YouTube. The doobly-doo.
Can I put it in the doobly-doo? I don't think I did.
I think it's, we'll put it in the doobly-doo. And then, yeah. But like you said, it's on the Facebook page. We're going to tweet it out. We're all going to post about it. So we will make sure that you can find that link and you can donate, no problem.
Yeah, is Riley here? Riley, can you handle the Wizards in Space social media stuff? Thanks, I love you. You're the best. Riley?
This is going great. Should we start? I think
so.
This is so cool. I'm just so excited to be here, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same. All of our artists, everyone who's watching. So I think we should get right to it. We have 30 poems. It's a lot of poems. It's a lot of years. How do you feel?
I feel weird. I feel like when everybody gets married and they're like, I don't feel any different. We're still in a relationship. And it's like, oh, great. You made it to day one of your wedding and your marriage. Great. But so I kind of feel like that. I don't feel any different. But what I am feeling is immensely proud of myself, first of all, just to be a Leo and put it out there. But I am just proud of my community specifically for rallying around so many causes that we care about and coming together to do this dumb, it's not dumb, but dumb thing, and like wear sparkles and wear tights in the middle of a 90-degree August day and kind of find the small, I know, and find the small but big joys in a really weird time and come together and hang out And the poets that we are hanging out with tonight are a mix of a ton of people. Some folks that I met in Providence that I fell in love with and wanted them to be here tonight. And we met through local poetry groups in Providence. And some people that I met through the internet. And there's one poet tonight whose name is Taylor, who's going to be reading, and we've never met. I just slid into their DMs and was like, I like your stuff. Do you want to come read poetry to my community? And they said yes, so she's going to be here tonight. And there's a lot of other poets that way too that I just like wanted to hear their work and give them give their work to you to hear. And then there's some old friends of Wizards in Space that I'm just so proud of and excited for everyone to hear. So that's that. That's the show. That's going to be the show. And I'll finish this out. I'll start us off. I'll be here in the middle. And
I cannot think of a better way to celebrate your birthday. And I'm so proud of you. Like I said, I love that we're doing this. I love that you pulled this together so well and so quickly. And now I'm going to leave. I'm going to get kicked off the stream. And then you can start us off with the
I'm going
first
to kick us off with the first poem.
Oh my
God. Hi, everyone. I am so excited. I don't have stuff, so I don't know. But
I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me?
Does all of the sound on this depend on me? I can handle it. Okay, I'm going to write a poem right now. I don't know what's going on.
I love tech stuff.
I have two computers, so that's what that was. But now you sound okay.
Really?
Yeah. But will it last if I leave?
I don't know. Maybe I can without you.
The internet translating our codependency in real time.
I think so.
For everyone watching, this is a taste of what happens if Olivia and I like don't talk for a few minutes.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, I think whatever you're using to watch the chat and the video, maybe
that. Maybe I won't be in the chat of my own party.
Yeah, maybe you don't be in the chat at least like while you're actively on here.
Let's try it. I just exited out.
Okay, let's try it again. Hannah,
yeah. Okay, how are we doing? This is my apartment. This is awesome. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I wanted to throw myself a birthday party. And then when the next poet comes on, I'll get headphones and we'll try that. But I'm going to kick it off tonight, first poem out of 30, with a poem that I wrote recently, thinking it's a pandemic poem. I'm just going to be honest with everyone. Just thinking about what it means to be surviving lately and what it means to continue day to day. It doesn't have a title, but I do call it my trash poem. So get ready for that. It seems the rain never lasts long enough. A quick burst of thunder you feel through your feet on the floor, but then it's nothing more than a truck going by. The garbage collected on another Monday morning. It's Wednesday by the time you bring the bins in again. And again, it's Monday before you know it. Time is a flat circle with sharp edges. We're all supposed to be stories in the end. But who will tell mine? Who will talk about the girl who lived alone in a pandemic, who took her trash out like a good girl, and stayed inside like a good girl, and wore a mask like a good girl, and ate like a good girl and donated like a good girl and hung in there like all the other good girls that hang in there on the daily, who take their trash out on the right days and bring the bins in on the wrong. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. I'm so excited and expecting more tech problems probably. Thanks. Let's hear it for myself in the chat. I don't know how this works. But we are gonna get this show started with somebody else. Thanks everyone. Our first poet tonight is Julia Rubin, who is a poet that I love. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
Julia and I met just through doing 20 Stories, which is a local bookstore open mic that I was hosting there for a while, and we met. No, that's not how we met.
No, not quite.
That's how we became real friends.
Yeah.
Julia and I met at a concert, at a weird house show, actually.
Somebody's living room.
And we just started talking and fell in love with each other, I guess, and had so much in common. And turns out we were both poets. And I love your stuff so much. Thank you for being here. And I'm going to get off the screen and let you have the show.
Okay, happy birthday. Thank you. Hello. Nice to be here. I'm so honored that Olivia asked me to read on her birthday, and so glad to know you, Olivia. I'm going to read 2 poems. The first one is also a pandemic poem. My love language is physical touch, and I am working on not touching tables or handles or faces, mine or anyone else's. I think about quarantine and what we do when we cannot love in our first language. When Ezra was tiny, he could only see 8 to 12 inches away. He only knew I was there if he could reach out and touch my cheek. I used to call out to my mom from the other room over and over. I didn't need anything, just everything. I don't know what I want, just stay where I can see you, stay where I could hold your hand. I am what they call a hugger because it's the only way I know I exist, we exist, love exists. I am working on staying 6 feet away, avoiding people on the path, saying hello from behind a mask. I think about how we'll love when we all live in plastic, how we'll find a new language, how it needs to be even better than before. That's one. And the next one is called Sonnet for My Spider Plant. My spider plant is getting her groove back, enjoying the sunshine again, singing. She wakes up early to salute the sky. She's finding her center, her third eye. My spider plant is dating herself now, treating herself to 5-course dinners and taking herself home, massaging her body with lavender, making herself come. She's calling herself Electrona, Greek goddess of the sun. She's going to sex magic workshops, learning to dedicate her orgasms to peace in the Middle East. My spider plant's divine energy is so powerful, it's gonna save us all. That's it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Julia, thank you so much. I absolutely love all your stuff. I put in headphones. I hope my audio is better. Julia, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to bring on Ari next, who I don't know what Ari is reading, which is always a treat for me, particularly. Hi, Ari.
Hi. Long time no see.
Long time no see. Ari and I live like a street over from each other, so we got to hang out today, and Ari brought me a decadent treat that I'm going to have later. I'm so excited for. But for folks that don't know Ari, I know that there's a lot of people here that do, but for people that don't know Ari was published in every single Wizards in Space issue until we just decided that they got us so much that we had to bring them on staff to be an editor. So Ari is a Wizards in Space editor, and I love your work.
Oh, thank you. Same to you. It's such an honor to be included in this celebration of you and words and everything. It's just great.
I love it. All right. So you're going to read one poem for us. So I can't wait to hear it.
Cool. Yeah. Hi, everybody. So Olivia asked me to read a poem for this, and I was like, okay, I have maybe 2 poems in the world, so that's fine. But then I found this old poem that I had been working on last summer that's about thunderstorms, and I mentioned it to Olivia, and she was like, you should do that. And then it wasn't finished, and I didn't start editing it until like half an hour before this. So this is a very rough draft, sort of finished thing, but I thought that I would share it because it was requested by the birthday girl. So this is called Thunder Cake. It's not the storm, but what comes before it, the sound that tears the sky in two. When I was a kid, we had this book called Thunder Cake, about a child who's afraid of that monstrous sound. Don't worry, says her grandmother, here is what we do. When that first shiver of lightning rips the sky apart and the air gets too thick to breathe, we bake a cake. We mix sugar, butter, flour, chocolate, and by the time that storm rolls in, it'll already be in the oven. I'm in my kitchen making pie, pouring berries from bowl to crust, and the August air is a hand against my throat. It's been a long summer, weeks of feeling pent up, running ragged inside myself, leaving rug burns, track marks that won't scab over. This summer, I have not been myself, or I've been too much myself, and I am tired of the heat, or maybe just tired. There's a storm coming. They've been saying it for weeks, but I've watched and waited, opened windows, prayed to the gods in at least 2 languages, yet still nothing pours down but sweat. But today, maybe today, the clouds will deliver on their promise. Today the wind changes, and I have sugar, butter, flour, lemon, and my own recipe. Thunder cake, thunder pie, I time myself against the rumbles, seal the edges, brush the egg. My life is put in order, tucked and crimped where it's falling apart. Count the miles under my breath, 3, 2, 1, and slide it into the oven just in time. Maybe adulthood is hard, and maybe you've cried in the shower 12 times this week, but the summer is hot and the rain is cold, and every time it's the same. You have to drop whatever you're doing and climb out the window, take off your shoes, look right up at the downpour, and hope whatever's in the oven doesn't burn before you're soaked. It's not the storm, but what you make of it, the sweet taste that lingers on your tongue. Thanks.
I love that. Oh my God. That is really beautiful. Can we hear it for Ari in the chat? Some snaps and some claps. And I should have said that for Julia, but I'm a little rusty on these online events. So let's hear it for Julia and Ari. Ari, what do you mean you didn't finish that, or you weren't, or you couldn't, or whatever? That was
it's in progress. But
that is amazing. Thank you so much, Ari. I love it. I love you. Thank you for my cake today. My thunder cake. All right. Wow. How is everybody feeling? Let's just take a room check for a second. I should have fixed the pillows on my futon, but I didn't. So you get to see a little bit of the real me. All right. This next poet that is coming on is Claudia Morales, who is one of my oldest friends. I mean, that's kind of not really the truest thing I've ever said, but Claudia. And we just got a glimpse of Porsha. Porsha, I'm sorry, we're learning this platform, but hi, Claudia.
Hello. I'm not your oldest friend in age or in history, but it feels like both.
Right? It feels like both. Claudia, I feel like I haven't seen your face in forever. Your highlighter is on point.
I laid it on thick because it's an Olivia party. I haven't worn the shirt since New Year's and the Felix party, so this is an Olivia events only shirt. Okay,
I really love it. So Claudia, you can introduce yourself, and I haven't heard you read in a really long time, or maybe I should introduce you for a little bit, but I don't know. Claudia is the best and fights the power and stands up for what you believe in, and I follow in your footsteps when it comes to activism and fighting and standing up for what I believe in. So I really appreciate you setting an example for all of us. and I can't wait to hear what you have to say tonight. So I'm going to go, let you have it.
I'm sorry to inform Olivia, who I love with my whole heart, that she has already heard what I'm reading tonight. True to form, if you've ever seen me read alongside Olivia at a house show or event, I always try to scrawl whatever I'm going to read on a napkin under like Brian's pool table 2 minutes beforehand. And I was trying to do that with a poem about surviving quarantine in this year. And I don't have the answers for that yet. So I'm reading an oldie but a goodie, one that Olivia has heard before because it's about her. I wrote this for one of her past birthdays. And I realized looking at the chat on the YouTube page that there are a lot of people who haven't heard this poem or haven't gotten to be in sweaty basements or really cold convention halls with us, but who I love and I know love Olivia. And I wanted to share this one again, and I'll have something new the next time we all get to be in the same place together. I thought this one had a title. It's just called Olivia in this Google Doc. Okay, part 1, C. That night, we drove out to that beach and listened to those songs and braved the snow and the darkness to get closer to the lighthouse. We called it quits halfway there and instead stood on a shore we couldn't see, listening to the roar of the sea and to our voices. All we could see were the stars, the unfamiliar ones that even our tiny, tiny city drowns out. I slurred something about this being the end of the world, like the physical end, and you agreed. And even as Joe tried very kindly to explain to us that this planet isn't actually flat, it was dark enough and I was drunk enough that I didn't have to close my eyes to picture all that ocean water rushing off the world's edge and into space. Part 2, space. When you dropped me off at my apartment, I wrote in my journal that this was the closest we'd come to being astronauts. So suspended in inky blackness, so weightless. We still talk about that night, and when we do, it's like we're floating again. But I know better now. I know we're always drifting through space. It's only a few days out of the year that our feet touch true ground. That night might have been our apogee, the furthest point in our orbit. Half a year out from our last touchdown and half a year to go until our next. Astronauts say that when a rocket reaches apogee, everything is perfectly still for a few moments before the Earth violently pulls them back. That between hurtling up and hurtling down, there's a little window of time where the stars aren't blurring past them. Months later, finally at home base, I smirk out that line about you telling me to stop crying, and I can't see you through the main stage lights, but I look over at where I know you're sitting and I hear your laugh, and I think I know the smile that accompanies it. The one reserved for forever nights, the one that stills the stars. Part 3, light. We spent our time at the world's end talking about the stars, but we spent the trip to it and away from it, talking about what we never really stopped talking about. The songs our hearts beat in time to, our little wizarding world, our desperate need to make it better. We let the month's magic propel us to our apogee, and when we had the galaxies at our fingertips, all we could think of was how we could bottle stardust to bring back home. So we stuck our flag in that night and began hurtling back. When we touched down 2 weeks ago, we stuck our flag there too. Our flight plans veer away from each other. We're on different missions, or maybe on different parts of the same mission, or probably some combination of the two. But it's never long before we find our way back to each other, shuttle between our distant stations, weave through the stars. You are the best co-pilot the space cadet could have asked for. You tuck me into bed when cartoon stars dance around my head. You bring me water when I might as well be on a different, dusty planet. You remind us to put on our spacesuits. You never let us float off too far. You send out homing signals, spend late nights toiling to build bigger stations. Refuse the rations you're offered when you know they're not enough. You meet this endless with ruthless purpose. Take pen to paper until you've drawn us a map. And even when you think in terms of galaxies, you never make us feel small. You never make me feel small. You know we burn brightest when we burn together. And really, all our space oddities want is to know we're not alone out here in those stretches between liftoff and touchdown, to know that we're all hurtling towards something, that we'll find our way back to land, that our transmissions will never go unheard, no matter how far our orbits take us. All we really want is a brightness to guide us. Even astronauts need lighthouses. What's that? Oh, she's back. Okay.
I'm back, and I'm trying not to cry.
I hadn't read that in years, and it feels more accurate every year, especially this one. So thank you for letting me read it again.
That is just one of the best gifts anybody has ever given me, and I love you, and I don't know what I would do without you by my side. And I actually am reduxing a poem later that talks about the very same night. So I am glad that you read that piece.
Oh, heck yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Claudia. Let's hear it for Claudia in the chat. I know she's been getting a ton of love already, but let's hear it for Claudia again. Thank you so much. All right. That's awesome. How are we doing? How is everybody feeling? Let's hear it for Claudia. I know many of you have also donated for 826, but that link again is in the down here place in the chat. Donate to 826 National. Again, if you're just joining us, it's like a youth writers nonprofit that helps the youth kind of find their voice and do all this awesome stuff. So if Danielle is here, Danielle is going to be our next poet. Hi, Danielle. Hi. Oh my God. Danielle is, how should I put this? Another adventure buddy. We've been on a ton of trips together, and we've gone on a big trip together, I would say, every year for like the past 3 or 4.
A couple, I don't know.
But
it's weird.
This is weird. It's weird not to like get into a car with you and drive through the desert or through like rolling green hills. But you are also one of my favorite poets, and I am just so happy that you're here and everyone's gonna get to hear your stuff. So I think you're reading 2 poems for us tonight.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna let you do just that.
Okay. Thank you. Well, happy birthday, Olivia, first of all. And thank you so much for putting this together. This is such an awesome thing, and it's so exciting to hear everyone else's reading also. So I recently just finished up taking a poetry workshop that was apocalypse themed, and the 2 poems I am reading have come out of that. So these are fresh. This is the first one. I'm sorry you think what I prophesied made you sick when it was really just bad takeout. Thus the world was created, is what you shout at me over a compostable tray soaked in yesterday's leftovers. And suddenly, I have no recollection of arriving at this point, sitting here made of cold noodles in an apartment we can't afford for another year, fighting over whose apocalypse would be more spectacular, whose creation story would make a better stage production. It's like we were dropped out of a star's momentary dream onto a garage sale sofa sprouting 6 stories into the sky, where our favorite wonder to plant in the burnt west side asphalt is how much time we have left. You hate it when I say that your greatest virtue is that you are improbable. But let me tell you, it is the most romantic thing I have ever considered. You random cosmic happenstance, you mathematical possibility, you echoing ping of a billion-year-old error message. Sic mundus creatus est. Mundus creatus est. Sic. Thus it had been written. I hold your hand through the night as your atoms burn and your gut erupts,
a noodle supernova before which there was nothing. And the thing I am most sure of in the world is that we are an accident. So what are the odds of us? What are the odds of us? Now I'm moving on to my second one. This is actually not based on, but inspired by a trip that Olivia and I took last year, where we had a fun stay in a very weird hotel room. So this is inspired by that hotel room in general. It is called "Would You Believe the World Ends and Starts in Jim Morrison's Motel Room in West Hollywood." I won't say again that staring at the stars is like staring into the past, because it's overstated. But also, it's one of those stunning things I'm furious I didn't say first. So the sky glows again with ageless graffiti, belonging to tonight as much as to its first tender moments, perhaps as far back as the Big Bang or 1971. I'm trying, Jim. Someone named John wrote this in the sky, twice. An ode to him, Jim. A promise to whoever is looking up right now. I try to picture him, John, the sadness of his smile, the wars he made it through. That way he would hold a pen to write something that wrote itself. A melancholy ghost, hopeful enough to have connected the most blinding stars, so that when I close my eyes, I can place his blazing words anywhere. I'm trying, Jim, I'm trying, Jim, I'm trying, Jim, I'm trying, John, I'm trying, Jim. I have always thought, or at least I have thought recently, that when the world ends, everything will collapse and fold in on itself as one, like it was before, smaller than a pinhead. And it is comforting to realize that John would think this too, that the stars were flaming when I got here, but I also ignited all of them. I'm trying. I've been trying this whole time. I really have. Will you tell him? Will you tell him for me, Jim? Tell him so he remembers. Tell him so he can spray paint the sky with me again. Thank you.
Danielle! Oh my God. Oh my God. Can we hear it for Danielle in the chat? Those poems are so good. And thank you for reading those particular ones. We joke a lot about the time that we slept in Jim Morrison's hotel room. And if you just want to do a quick Google search for what that hotel room looks like, you'll kind of get a feel for it. And we slept on top of the covers because we were too scared to get under them. And I used my Harry Potter denim jacket as a blanket. But even though it was like kind of rough in the moment, we knew it was going to be such a strong and powerful memory. So I love your writing, and thank you so much. Let's hear it again for Danielle in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. I almost forgot. Like, I don't even care. I do care. I do. I really do care. Thanks, Danielle. Thank you. You're the best.
Oh.
All right. This is so awesome. I am just in awe so far tonight. If we can hear it for all the poets already, and everything that's happening, I'm overwhelmed. And I just wanted to say, before I bring Proma on, or you can bring Proma on now, it's fine. We're best friends. We'll make it happen. That there's so many people here from like across the country, tuning in from different time zones, and then also just like tuning in from different parts of my life. I have old coworkers here, new coworkers here, family members, friends from the Harry Potter fandom, friends from Providence, friends I haven't seen in a long time, friends I saw today. So I'm just really grateful and super happy. So Proma is going to come on.
No, not her.
Again. What? I'm obsessed with you. You're the best. Do I even have to talk about you? I will.
I don't need to hear it. I know, but
you know. Proma and I have been friends since 2007. Maybe 2007. And we met in a hotel in Toronto. Shout out to hotels, I guess. The theme of the evening.
Yeah.
But Proma, you're going to read a piece tonight that was just published.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm so excited. I'm excited to hear it. I haven't read it in a while, and I had a feeling you might read it tonight. So I didn't read it in its published form because I wanted to take it in live. So I'm glad to see I'm still psychic, that I still got it.
And still, you know that I can't write poetry. Like, Olivia has bent the rules for me a little bit, and I really appreciate that because I've tried, and you've read my attempts. It's best to not.
They're not bad. You're great.
Not bad, but they're not good. So that's an important distinction.
You're an incredible writer, and I just want everybody to hear your talent. So
yeah, this piece is okay.
I'm gonna go. I'll just go, and then you can have it.
I don't want to talk at you, but now I'm going to talk at everyone. So this piece is, like I said, it's not a poem. It's not a personal essay, but it draws from a lot of personal stuff that I've put in essay form before, and I kind of played with the format. I chose to read it tonight because, as Olivia mentioned, it was just published last week in the online newsletter for Tart magazine, which I don't know if I should mention another literary magazine, but I do believe we're all friends here. So you can find them online too, and I've tweeted the link for this out a couple times. But because Olivia is one of the people who I originally wrote this piece for, it's framed as kind of like a self-help guide, like a pamphlet. Like, I imagine, like, when you go to the doctor's office and you get those little things that are like, so you think you have a tapeworm or whatever. This is like that. So it's like, okay, you are experiencing certain things and symptoms, and now we're going to talk you through it. Me. I'm going to stop talking about it, and I'm going to read it. Welcome. If you're reading this, then you're a friend or acquaintance of mine who has had the fortune/misfortune, ideally interpretation will spring toward the former by the time we're done here, of meeting the man who is my sort of ex and former love. It is my hope that the information contained in this packet will help you adequately cope with his sudden and possibly sustained presence in your life, and that you will not fall prey to the many months of emotional toil with which I was plagued all those years ago. Let us begin. First and foremost, you will notice on the exterior that he is exceedingly conspicuously handsome. Perhaps not as would be a movie star or model or some similar otherworldly specimen of good looks, but in the way that while wandering among the hoi polloi, he is wont to turn heads, to draw attention, to elicit double takes and fervent blinking, as if windshield wiping our retinas will somehow make the sight of him more digestible. I am familiar with this phenomenon. If you knew me when I first met him, you may recall my distress at the introduction of so fetching a human in my presence, and you may have asked to see a photo on social media, with which I would have obliged, but which can't quite do him justice. I imagine you said something like, yeah, he's cute, but did not quite comprehend the reality of my circumstances and proceeded to go about your day while I quietly spiraled into madness. It is therefore perfectly explicable that you should be here now, visibly blushing at the sight of his jawline, live in 3D. Your eyes and any other physical and physiological responses to his visage will in time adjust, at which point you will have the metaphysical distance to understand that while he is very attractive, this is largely due to juxtaposition with less aesthetically pleasing peers and his adherence to societal conventions of male beauty. He also smells clean. Moving on. From speaking to or spending time with him, you will begin to realize that he is further along the recognized path to success and stability than most others of his station, ourselves included. That is to say, he really has his shit together. You will find him almost suspiciously hygienic, organized, and competent. This is perhaps less remarkable as we enter our late 20s, but I can confirm that he has been this way for almost a decade, that he owned a vacuum at age 20 and was even known at the time to start cleaning an apartment well before its inebriated inhabitants had so much as begun to wobble out the door for a night of debauchery. Additionally, you will find him to be ideal in social situations where he is charming, polite, and considerate. He has no doubt by now bought you drinks and around, asked about your life with genuine interest, offered to help you with an errand, or perhaps to be your tour guide when you visit the city of his residence. In the case of inclement weather, be prepared for him to offer his arm to you while navigating treacherous terrain, but be further prepared for the sudden intake of breath you will experience when your hand makes direct contact with his forearm muscle. Yes, I am aware that he is toned. He has only become more so with time. You can, of course, communicate your pleasant surprise at his company with me at any time, though do excuse me if I respond with, I know, or yeah, he is. But the fact of the matter is that I do know, and yeah, he is. To repeatedly register visible shock at his capability and charisma is to somewhat indirectly, but not indirectly enough, doubt my past self's taste in prospective suitors. I believe at the time that some of you used the term asshole or fuckboy, or dismissed his many merits once you knew he didn't want to date me. I appreciate your loyalty, but now you see what I was dealing with. He will undoubtedly befriend you on all manner of social media after this preliminary meeting, which will make you feel special and prompt an infinitesimal spike in your heartbeat every time you see his photo thumb on the gram or what have you. You will wonder when he likes everything you post if he is perhaps into you, or if he's the type of person who blindly double taps the entire web. He's not. He just genuinely supports you and wants you to be happy. As a final point, though I hope we have no reason to broach the subject, no, it is not weird that he's in a relationship. He's been in several since the time when I had feelings for him, and I respond as I would to any close friend finding love, again and again. I think she's lovely, and it was a delight to meet her. Yes, we did seem to be getting along, obviously, because we have some baseline similarities, such as attraction to the same person. And no, I don't mean romantically, I just mean emotionally, intellectually. Does it not track logically that you would get along with a significant other of a close friend, given that you both care a lot in different ways about the same person? I mean, really. I also don't think that his girlfriend and I look alike, so there will be no need to bring that up, not least because it's inappropriate. Are we the same height and build? Well, yes. Do we share a similarly unique hue of eye color? I suppose so, but you're reaching now. Do we share oh, I already said that. Does she dress better and with more apparent ease as I struggle painstakingly to achieve some sort of sartorial respectability with all the holes in my tights? What a stupid question with absolutely no point. Control yourself. In any case, I hope this packet was informative and comforting, and that it has helped you overcome the initial maelstrom that is meeting him. As you know, he's been my dear friend for years, a constant in my adult life, and someone whom I expect to be a continued and beloved presence forever. We remain consistently in touch and make a point to see each other regularly, ideally never more than a few months apart, or we will just miss each other too much. I'm glad you could finally meet him. It means a lot to me. I am done.
Okay. The thing is that I have met this person. I can't remember if you mentioned that. And This is nonfiction. This is you wrote fact.
Right,
You didn't, this is it.
I tried to do this at the beginning, but it doesn't really work until you've heard it. But like, yeah, a lot of my friends a few years ago met this person and we're all like, oh my God, like literally our whole group met him in the same night, and I had to have like 5 individual conversations where I was like, how are you feeling? Let's talk. Are you
Let's
okay?
talk. I know his jawline is
my crush. Yeah, you met him actually earlier than that. So
his jawline was who was with when we saw Hamilton, Heidi and Rachel.
Yeah, Heidi and Rachel.
You know that you met him too. So that might have sounded familiar too. But let's hear it for Proma in the chat and in the comments. That is incredible. I am so glad poetry doesn't have any rules, because I can't even break the rules because poetry has no ruls. So thank you.
Did I write?
No.
No, I did. Okay.
I'm tired.
Thank you for
I love you, Proma. I think we'll see you again to close us out. So, okay, I am gonna take a second and read a poem, a piece, if that's okay with everyone. How do we feel about that? It's my birthday, I think. I don't even know anymore. So I am going to read a piece called Carpets. It's been around for a really long time. And it is, to be blunt, about being a redhead, and I see my own literary magazine bullying me in the comments, and that's fine because that's how it goes sometimes. Oh, Black Girls Create is here. I love you guys. If you don't know Black Girls Create, go follow them right now. Okay, anyways, I want to content warn this piece for no one else but my parents. If my parents and my family members are watching, this is going to be hard for you. It's going to be awkward. I might not be able to make eye contact when we see each other again tomorrow for whatever day it is or when I see you again. It's kind of saucy. So just content warn for my actual, for Mr. and Mrs. Dolphin and my brother, if he's here. Okay. I'm going to read this on the internet. Okay. This is called Carpets. I have a thing for redheads, he'd say. Not a specific he, but the plural. The he's and hims of childhood playgrounds, high school hallways, college dorms, chat rooms, and even still the streets I walk on. I always had a thing for redheads, they'd say, while they looked my colored curls up and down. I could see the fantasy glossing over their eyes so loud I could hear the projector clicking through each slide, and me, a blank screen for where their visions came alive. Sometimes it was something they didn't mean at all, just a thing that you were supposed to say, a compliment written on the back of their hand as they slapped me with it. They'd say, redheads are so feisty, and even fighting back was a part of the part I played. Words like leeches bit into me, labels hanging off my arms and breasts and legs, leeches that said it was all right to be a fetish, that I was meant to be a click-through link on a black background porn site, a category and a side column, a choice in a drop-down menu. Does the carpet match the drapes? He'd ask. They hemmed and hawed their fantasies, eyes eyeing me up and down like my legs were a chest to be opened, an item to be acquired, a discovery to be made, a map to mark with an X, a box to check. As I got older, I was told I shouldn't have a carpet at all. And I thought, what better way to let the drapes stand on their own? What better way to say none of your business? What better way to erase the target mark between my legs? So I went to the salon and I asked her to tear up my carpet. I wanted wood floors, tiles, linoleum. I wanted to be so smooth you could sock slide across my clit. Hot wax, seared, ripped off skin. I wanted all traces of color to be gone. But even still, I was left bleeding and burned, raw and red. Thank you so much. Sorry, Mom and Dad. You created me to be the powerful woman I am today, so I hope you don't hate it too much. Thank you so much. I'm seeing love in the comments. I appreciate it. I wrote that poem a long time ago, and I've edited it since, but it still holds true. And I'm tired of the weird things people say to redheads or other people that get fetishized often. So if you felt that, I'm here for you, and I love you all. That's that. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink out of my gold cup that I bought specifically for this party, because I'm nothing but not who I am. But we are gonna bring on Porsha, who is a poet that I have not met yet. So this will be very exciting. Hi, I think you're muted. I love the internet. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks. It's almost like I just wanted to do this to hang out with like really cool people. So
It's a very like fire sign thing to do, very Leo of you. And I'm like, stand in it as their fellow fire sign. I'm just like, yeah, gotta do what gotta do.
Gotta do it. So I'm so happy that you're here. We have not spent much time together before, I don't think, but Wizards in Space and Black Girls Create, which you are a member of, a staff member of, both. We hang out a lot, and Wizards in Space does a lot with Black Girls Create, and we just love and respect the hell out of you all. And I reached out to Black Girls Create and said, who's a poet? And who do you want to show off? And they suggested you, and I'm so thankful that you're here. So I'm going to go and let you have the show.
Hey everyone. So I'm gonna do a short one first. It is a lot of my poems are actually like songs that I wrote that I'm too scared to make songs. So this is one of those. And it's called Destiny. People give their whole lives in pursuit of me, singing at first the main lines and adding the instrumentals and backing harmony, all alone till their voice is gone, searching for the key. Am I fate? Is it too late? Can they get a clean slate? When will they know when they're home? Will they have the answers at one date? Are they destined for something great? Can they find the answers in its home? Is this it? Should they quit? Will nothing ever feel true? Is it you? Should you come too? Is this a mutual fascination? Could it be the journey? Is there no actual destination? What is destiny? And then my second poem, I told you that was short. My second poem is called Safe Haven. It's about some people that you may be familiar with from a vantage point of a very famous tree, a safe haven. The boy has returned once again. I spend each moon awaiting the touch of his hand. Somehow we have become close friends, the lonely prowler and the solitary brigand. There was a day he shared me with someone new, someone who hunted down the clues. How dare they come between my boy and I who hid him as he transformed and cried. But he allowed them in, then so did I. And friends we all were, for a time. Then a moon came, and the boy said to me, I suspect this is the last we'll see each other, tree. I appreciate your protection and space inside, but now is the time I must say goodbye. I am ashamed about what happened next, the days I waited for his next visit, the ways I hurt those who drew near, because I knew, without a doubt, my boy would reappear. In return he did, no longer a sad boy, but a withdrawn man. Yet he seemed reluctant to visit me again. How was I ashamed when I'd offered him a home? One day he came back and revealed his old friends within, but it was too late. I'd let their enemy in. It was the night of the moon when they crept out again, a night that spelled doom for my boy, my man. As the moon reached its peak, he transformed, outside of my reach, without a shelter. I'd failed. He told me goodbye again the next day, apologizing for not visiting throughout the year, saying it was for shame of his transformation. Then he left me. Oh, how I wailed. Our story does not have a good fate, for I saw his body as they brought it through the gate. I'd been where he'd come to flee. Now he was gone, and I lost the point of me. That's it.
Yes, Porsha, thank you. Incredible. Let's hear it for Porsha in the comments. And let us know where we can find your stuff. And this goes for all the poets. Like, just like Twitter, drop your stuff in the comments. But that's beautiful. This whole like tarot card goddess vibe, I'm super into that you have. But this was awesome. Thank you for jumping into this and just reading some poetry and helping us raise money for a good cause and doing all that you do for Black Girls Create. I really, really love it all. So
yeah, thanks for having me, and happy birthday again. And I love the whole party. I love your whole like gold and shininess.
Thank you.
So this is perfect.
It's my whole brand, so I appreciate people like jumping on. I wasn't sure. I was like, come in your pajamas, come in a dress. I don't care. Wear tights in 90-degree heat, which is what I'm doing, which I regret. But what are you gonna do? Gotta do it.
It's what fashion does.
No pain, no game, right?
Right.
All right, Porsha. Let's hear it again for Porsha in the comments. Thank you so much for jumping into this. I so appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Incredible. Yeah, so poets that have read I'm Being the Worst, and please feel free if you want, or do it for each other. Like, let us know where we can follow you and find your stuff. If you have stuff that's been previously published, I know some people have been published in Wizards and Space issues, and we have those available too. So just like, let's do it and let's hang out. We're gonna switch things up for 1 second. I gotta go into the back chat because we're gonna do something kind of wild. We're gonna bring on a special poet tonight, if that person is ready. Let's do it. This is really, I'm about to lose my mind.
Hi.
This is my best friend, Alice Sexton, who gave birth to these beautiful Leo twins on August 8th. And they're home and healthy and happy. And this is the best gift anybody could have ever given me.
Yeah, funny story. Olivia was convinced that I was gonna like break the water on this streaming platform, but instead we were FaceTiming and I broke my water on our personal FaceTime. So I did that just for you instead of
I could not have believed it. Like, you got up and you were like, yeah, I think my water just broke. And I was like, hey, where's your husband? Go to the hospital. Hi, Daddy. Daddy. Okay, my mind is blown, but I know you have a lot going on. So, yeah. And I know you're going to share a poem with us while holding babies. So I'm going to go and let you do that. I love you so much. Please take it away, and everybody else enjoy this gift.
Thank you. Hi. I haven't performed poetry ever. Olivia has been kind enough to read a lot of my poems and give me great feedback. This poem is one that she read recently, and I wanted to share it because just about a year ago, hormones are gonna come. Just about a year ago, I was in a really dark place. I was having suicidal ideation, and I'm lucky to have an amazing support system, including my best friend. And it's important in life to find those people who can help you find you back to yourself. So I'm going to try and work my way through this poem. It's called Alive. Let me just take a sip of my pineapple spindrift. Sponsored by Olivia Dolphin. Okay. It was the hardest question ever asked. What is keeping you alive? Taken aback by this defibrillation. Here I am sitting in front of strangers. Medical professionals, yes, but earthlings, human like me, extracting a snapshot of my existence. Symptoms, meds, allergies, blood pressure, pulse ox, EKG, the laundry list of evidence-based life. Can you measure the depth of this depression spiral? Can you quantify the existential pain that keeps me alive? It keeps me awake all night, after night, after night. Why am I alive? Why can't I fall asleep? Why can't my body perform its basic executive functions? Why did I invest in higher education just to do the same thing day in and day out? Did I make the wrong choice in becoming a doctor who needs doctors? Why do I lie here watching reruns of Boy Meets World instead of fucking doing something? Why would I want to bring another life into this pain and confusion? Sleep is elusive, emotions unspoken, negative self-talk. It's been weeks without wine, without pot, without binge eating, without these culpable coping mechanisms results in intensifying a default mode network in crisis. I haven't slept in days. Today is only but a sliver of pain and panic pulsing in my heart, just a small sample of the toxic chain reaction of each dusk that never comes to dawn. Sobbing at the secretary, the nurse, the doctor, the police officer who will not let me go to the bathroom unattended. Emotional daggers in their general direction, crawling out of my skin, willing every cell to leave this wretched existence. Please hook me up to your curative wires. Put me out of this spiraling misery. What is keeping me alive? Oh, it's the atoms spinning, electrons whirling to and fro, carbon molecules arranged ever so cleverly to give me this fundamental shape, strands of DNA interlocking and replicating on shorter and shorter leashes. Neurons firing randomly and rapidly, screaming fight or flight, but don't actually take that jagged edge to your skin. What is keeping me alive? Well, I stay alive for other people. I look into my partner's eyes, not understanding if there's understanding. There's the sunrise in Cape Cod, the dawn of our lifelong partnership. You put your hand on mine, the other at the wheel, and we drive to our next adventure. I grab onto that moment to anchor back to myself. I speak to my mother. I am so separate and inseparable from the womb that bore me. My mom's sitting next to us. I look so much like you and have yet to understand you. I hug my best friends. A piece of my soul lives within them, a beacon in a shadow of eclipsed light. Our nights gathered around food and drink, feel-good movies, and tarot cards, but truly centered on each other. I imagine their grief, their pain, the burden I would place on them, so I continued to bury my own. Is that enough to live for? What is keeping me alive? Okay. Deep, deep, deep down, I want to live. I want to create, to dance, to love, to hope there is more and less. Thank you. And I'm happy to be alive today and to have these little munchkins on a live stream.
They're stars already. I'm sorry for doing that to them at such a young age.
They're 4 days old. They can handle it.
Yeah, okay. I feel like I'm 4 days old after that poem. You really brought me back. So, Allie, I encourage you to go back in the chat and read what everybody's been saying. I have to fix my makeup. Oh my God.
Getting real raw.
Thank you. I think that in times such as these, you just exhibited so much power that I think is going to push people through the rest of what we have in store for 2020. To see somebody who gave birth 4 days ago read a poem that speaks to so many, and talking about life while holding new life. And I don't think that that energy was lost on anybody tonight. And thank you for being brave. You're a fucking rock star. I swore in front of children. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry to all the moms.
It's not their first. It's not their first, nor will it be their last.
But shout out to you, Allie. I'm in awe. You're a goddess of this earth. And
I love you. Thank you for being my best friend and being a pillar of strength and resilience. And I just love you so much. And I'm so proud of you. And thanks for doing this. And everybody go donate and let's rock it.
Okay. I don't want you to go, but you're going to have to go. I'm sure you need to rest and like do
What is rest?
Something else. I don't know. You might not know for a while, but thank you.
My song is actually paying off right now because I'm like very used to this week. So, where's Porsha?
It was like boot camp in a way.
Yeah.
In a bad way. But I love you. I'm happy you're here, and thank you for jumping into this and making it happen. I love you.
Love you.
Bye. Oh, can we give it up for Allie again? In the comments, I know that we've been spewing the love, but if we could just give her one more round of claps and hearts in the comments. Oh my God, that was the first time I've seen the babies in like moving pictures. So I need a second. Okay, so we're gonna bring Gretchen on. Hi, Gretchen.
Hi, somehow I'm supposed to follow that.
You're gonna do great because I've heard your poetry live before, so it's gonna be fine. But we can just chat for like a second.
Yeah, let
everybody just process. Gretchen was on deck, and I was like, hold on, we have a plot twist. So thank you for bumping a spot down in line. Gretchen, you were published in issue 5 of Wizards in Space.
Yes, I got to attend the release party, which was probably the last big thing I went to before lockdown happened. So it was very exciting to be there. I didn't even realize in retrospect just how exciting it was going to be that I got to go out and go to an amazing party.
We talked about it a little bit, like heading in to the event, if we should, be having it. But at that point, not a lot of things in the US were being canceled, and we decided to go for it. And I am grateful that we did, because I got to meet you in person, and we got to have a really incredible evening. And I think it was like a lot of people's last hurrah.
Big thing. Yeah.
Before quarantine. Some people traveled for it and came from quite a long way. So
that was end of February, I think. So
it was the end of February.
Yep.
Wild.
Yeah. It was.
How are you feeling? You want to read some poems?
I'm good. Yeah, I'd love to read some poems.
I would love to read some poems. Your poems. You're gonna read 2 poems for us, right?
I am gonna read 2 poems for you.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go and let you have the stage.
Okay. Thank you. Well, of course, first, happy birthday. I'm so excited to be here, and that Olivia asked me to be part of this. I'm going to read 2 poems. The first one is, it's a self-portrait as a science fiction movie, and it's an abecedarian, which is like an ABC poem, which if you know what it is, that's cool. If not, don't worry about it. But it's a self-portrait as Space Odyssey, which I felt was appropriate for Wizards in Space. So self-portrait as Space Odyssey. After the revelation, I say, body, now define yourself. Course of stars and satellites, daisies and thorns, the body emptied of meaning and full for confrontation. Body, I say, grant yourself an ability to be hull, husk, haven. I'm afraid, it says to me, I can't do that. Jupiter can never be a star, king though it is. No body learns itself first. I am not a monolith, of course. I am not an object, nor an AI. I am only a person, and I am lonely pretending to be a skeleton. Quirks of nature prevent me returning to the place I've left, space warping around my form till I pass beyond some horizon unseen. I will return. Please don't vivisect whatever remains of me. Why not call yourself extraterrestrial? After all, you've reached your zenith. And this next poem I'm going to share, I wrote a couple months ago, and it's one of my favorite things I've written to date. And I feel like it's appropriate to share for this event and just for this time. So this is called, I share an article announcing Spinosaurus is now confirmed to be the first aquatic dinosaur. And when my friend Kay says she loves the mermaid Spinosaurus, I nearly cry, because I love dinosaurs with unholy glee, and I didn't think to call them that. Would never have.
And even now, with everything going on in the world, I can still be struck numb with beauty, even the idea of it. And Kay is right. I imagine Spinosaurus aegypticus gliding through the murky rivers, monster and mystery and mermaid all at once, all teeth and tail. And this is beautiful to me, which maybe says something about my idea of beauty. In that post, I said I'd had a sad and stressful day, and Kay said, I'm also in love with the fact they proved it by building a giant robot tail and thrashing it about in various simulations. Also, if you need to chat, I'm around. And I too love the idea of making a robot mimic emotion, something ancient coming back to life in some small way. And this says something about my idea of beauty too, but maybe also something about love and joy and how my friends know me so well and how even now, with everything going on in the world, I am in good hands. Thank you.
Gretchen, thank you. Your poems are it's like visual rock candy.
Thank you.
It like pops in my brain. Is that what rock candy does?
Pop rocks.
Pop rocks. And rock candy. It's like both. It's like if you like it's like the mermaid, all the tails and teeth. Pop. It's like, what if you could make rock candy out of pop rocks?
That would be too much power, I think.
Too much
but
power.
Also excellent.
Thank you, Gretchen. Let's hear it for Gretchen in the comments.
Thank you for having me. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks. Incredible. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Gretchen's poem Ouroboros was published in our 5th issue for Wizards in Space, and will knock you on the floor. So if you're familiar with that poem, then now you have more context of the person behind it. So we're going to keep this show on the road. We have a couple more poets, and I'm going to be closing out the show with however many poems we have left. I've lost track. I think I could do math, but I refuse to on my birthday. So I'm not going.
I can't hear you. Hi, everyone. I'm Talia Franks. I'm actually really excited that the donations are going to 826 Boston because I actually work for Mass Poetry, and the way I work for Mass Poetry is through 826 Boston. So that's really exciting for me. Yeah, so basically I'm going to be reading 2 poems, one of which is an original poem and one of which is a translation. So the original poem that I'm reading is called Once Upon a Now, and I'm going to drink some water first so that I don't cough in the middle of the poem. Right, so once upon a now. Once upon a time, I lived in a world where I thought justification of my love was not obligatory. Where dreams could be dreams, or we could fly together, dancing in an endless silken sky. You and me and our music, our hearts wild, free, but belonging. There was never anything as easy as us. Now it is not so. Now what once were dreams are nightmares. Now I cannot imagine your face without cruel words. Now the wind snaps our wings, bloody feathers rain from a sky that is not but a wall of gray, and our ankles twist and they break. Now our hearts are not wild, simply lost. Now we have forgotten our dance. Now the music is nails on a chalkboard. Now is a wreckage of what was once. So that was the original poem. Now we're gonna go and work on the translation. I'm gonna take another water break because you gotta hydrate so you don't dehydrate, as we used to say on the Quidditch team. Okay, so this is a translation of poetry from 17th century poet, philosopher, and nun, Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. And it's a translation from Spanish to English. It doesn't have a title because she didn't title her poems. If I had to title it, I would say that it's called Pain and Passion. And it's, oh my goodness, my phone is trying to talk to me because that's what the, oh my goodness, stop phone, sorry. The Google Assistant never stops. Anyway, so they didn't have titles, but they did have little sentences that gave an impression of what the poem was about. And so this poem's little sentence is, of a rational reflection with what mitigates the pain of a passion. With the agony of a mortal wound, I lamented from an injury of love. And to see if death herself would come, I sought that it come faster. Everything evil in which the soul delights, sorrow for sorrow, she adds to her pain. And in every circumstance she ponders, who has left over 1,000 deaths to one life? And when at the blow of one shot to the next, exhausted, submissive, the heart gives pitiful signs of breathing its final breath. I do not know with what monumental fate I go back on my accord and say, who do I admire? Who in love has been more happy, more damned? And so that was the second poem, Sonnet by Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz. As I said, that was a translation, not a poem that I wrote myself, though I do say that every translation is an act in writing oneself. But yeah, so.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Wait.
Yes, I can hear you now.
I'm back. Okay, I think what's happening is I keep trying to participate in the comments and I'm not allowed. But Talia, those were awesome. And I love the fact that you bring translations into my poetry community because I think it's such impressive work that you studied these poems and that you've been able to create new life for them and share them with all of us. So I am so thankful that you brought that into this. So let's hear it for Talia in the comments. Thank you so much, Talia.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say that, as I said before, I work for Mass Poetry, which is a nonprofit in Massachusetts. And so we're actually, the way I work for Mass Poetry is I'm subcontracted through 826 Boston, which is a chapter of 826 National. And so I just wanted to say it's a really great cause that I think everyone should support. Mass Poetry in particular focuses on using poetry as a way to catalyze understanding and connection in Massachusetts in particular. And so we have a number of programs, including working with students in improving poetry in Massachusetts in particular. And yeah, and so I just wanted to say that I really appreciate that you're using this event as a way to sort of help improve that in particular. And then also, since you said we should promote ourselves, I have a website. It's called Word for Sense and Other Stories, where I post different book reviews and then essays. And I've just started posting more poetry on it. And I also post poetry through my Patreon page. So
that's incredible. We have all those links somewhere in the Wizards in Space drafts and tweets. So we will share your work, and we should also follow Mass Boston. I've heard incredible things about them, and I'm so happy that you are spreading the good work of poetry wherever you go, because it seems like you have your hands in so many awesome projects. So thank you, Talia. Thank you so much.
I wear many hats, as they say, although I'm not actually wearing a hat right now because my hair's in a bun. So
it's too hot. Really too hot for hats. Too hot for sequins. But here I am, turning 30, wearing a sequin dress on the hottest day of the year. But let's hear it again for all Talia does in the comments, and we'll be sharing those links. And thank you so much, Talia. That is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And happy birthday.
Thank you. I keep forgetting. I don't forget. It's all relative. Okay, let's keep this party moving. We're gonna bring Taylor Bias on, who is another poet I have never met. I am so honored to meet you. I don't even know if I've seen your face before. We are Twitter mutuals.
Yes.
And, I think I don't know, your Twitter, a tweet came up on one of my timelines, and I started following you, and you were spreading awesome messages and talking about lit mags, and I was looking up your poetry and I was blown away. And I quite literally just slid into your DMs and was like, I'm doing this very strange birthday event, but I'm raising money for a nonprofit. So do you want to come read some of your poetry? And you jumped on board, which means we're going to be friends for life, because that's some powerful energy that I'm into.
It's one of the best DMs I've ever received.
I'm so excited. I can tell this is going to be the start of a long and wonderful partnership and poetry friendship. So Taylor, I'm so excited for this. I'm going to go and let you have the floor, and I'll catch you on the other side.
You will. Happy birthday. Also, I'll tell you a good one you come back. But okay, I'm going to read two poems. The first one is a breakup poem that I wrote, basically. It came out in Tramset. And this poem, I was really into long titles at the time. So the title of this poem is a little long. It's called When in the Wendy's Drive-Thru, They Ask Me What Sauce, and I Say. When in the Wendy's drive-thru, they ask me what sauce, and I say honey mustard and regret it because it was your favorite. Just last month, or the month before, honey mustard teardropping into your beard as we ate on your leather couch. The sauce like a thick dusting of pollen over the bramble. In you, a first sign of spring. Then my thumb braving the sharper bristles to catch what begged for your white t-shirt. Your teeth caught my finger, nipped its pad before I could return it to my own tongue to taste you. Mine, you said, all mine, a part of me disappearing into your mouth. And what about the other time, when honey barbecue clung to your chin's steel wool until you covered my body with yours in my bed? You humming Kendrick Lamar into the bowl of my clavicle, how I was the swimming pool you wanted to dive in. You called it art afterwards, your beard's accidental stippling, sauce swirling across my upper breast, Van Gogh's Starry Night remixed. Your breath as smoky as a summer camp bonfire as you cleaned the plate of me said you've never tasted sweeter. Now I spill sauce onto myself in my apartment, shirtless. Honey mustard needles down my sternum gap, and there is no one to reclaim these grasslands. No one to stop me before I dab away the mess, to say I got it and let their dinner go cold. Okay. The second poem I'm going to read is a sestina, so it's a little longer, but it's a fun one, and I wanted to read this because it's a birthday celebration, and this poem is really fun. I had a lot of fun writing it. And the first time that I did read it, I had a lot of fun reading it. So I'm going to read it again. But it's inspired by like those weird neighborhoods you drive through when they just have no curtains and you can just see through people's houses. So I wrote a poem about that because I was thinking about that for some reason. So this poem is called It's None of My Business But. It's none of my business, but listen, something ain't right. When I drive through the hilly parts of Birmingham, where the nice houses have matching mailboxes, and some driveways snake a half mile up from the curb, the curtains go missing. And I mean gone. Nothing but a crisp, Windexed eye into another life. I'm talking Technicolor HD. Admit it. You've slowed your car to see the color of that vintage sofa, watch the car on the TV drive out of the side of that all-glass high-rise, the picture so crisp, my God. Notice the luster of the silver picture frames, nice family, and it even looks like they're matching. No curtains, no blinds, just a dining room out in the open, a runner snaking down the center of the table, the good china with the snake-like ridges curling along the plate's edges, an entire color-coordinated affair. And those Pottery Barn slipcovers curtained over the chairs, $100 each, I checked. But doesn't it drive you crazy? The fact that you can't look away? Just look at the nice chandelier and the half-moon glass above the front door, its crisp, tapered layers, the potted plants in the front window still crisping in the sunlight. And have you ever seen a hallway that snaked from the living room back into the kitchen? Then you get a nice view of the fake fruit arrangements, the just a little off color of waxy pears and grapes I'm sure the children have driven into their mouths to be disappointed. Let's not forget the curtain of spit to be Clorox wiped from the surface. And no curtains in the bedroom is risky, but here we are. A pencil skirt crisp from the iron next to a crumpled shirt that says, "You drive me wild" on the bed's comforter. A handful of belts snaking down from a hook over the closet door. Yes, the clothes are color-coded in the walk-in. I know it's crazy, but damn, it's a nice house and you get a little jealous. But then you think it's too nice. That there's no way a family could be comfortable with no curtains in the living room. Absolutely no way the cream-colored carpet is still in tip-top shape. No way the fruits look so crisp in that bowl. And who's to say it's fake at all? Your eyes snake through the open windows one last time before you drive off and decide that it is too nice. That the rooms aren't colored by a family's existence. And now you wish for curtains, a snaking drawstring to pull closed on the crisp fall nights. But you drive. You drive. Thank you so much.
Oh my God. Wait, I hope you can, now I'm nervous nobody can hear me, but
Yes,
I think
can
you
hear
can hear me. Okay, well, that's great because I have nothing to say because I'm speechless. I knew your poetry was good, and I can tell you had an awesome way about you just based on Twitter, but I have nothing to say. And I think everybody in the chat, let's hear it for Taylor.
Go look at the chat.
Our new favorite poem. I recommend scrolling back, and I wish I could show you like the private texts I'm getting about how incredible you are. But please feel free to drop in your Twitter. I know you live tweet.
I do. Lit Mag tweets. Yay.
Lit Mag live tweets, which is a project I'm loving. And I heard a rumor Wizards in Space might be on there one day.
Ooh, you heard correctly.
But Taylor, this has been an absolute joy. Let's give it up for Taylor again. And I am sure through many, many, many Wizards in Space and my own personal channels, you're going to be hearing a lot from Taylor. So thank you for coming. And
thank you for having me. And happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks for taking a leap of faith and like coming online to like a weird community thing you've never like been in before. So that means the world to me. Thanks, Taylor. I appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Who do we have next? Mary Grace. Let's bring Mary Grace on. Oh my God, Mary Grace sent me flowers today. Actually, a lot of people sent me flowers today. Jackie did. Hi, Mary Grace.
Hi, happy birthday. Only you can get me in Gryffindor colors. It's a very rare occasion.
Incredible. Well, you are a pro and you know what you're doing, and I think you're gonna read 2 poems for us today.
Yes,
I think
2 poems.
I've lost count of how many poems, but I hope everybody's having a good time, and I'm gonna go so we can keep this show on the road.
Woo! And before I get into the reading, just wanted to say I donated $30 to 826 for Olivia's 30th birthday. And so if y'all can match, that would be super awesome. But any donation is amazing. You know, I'm always here for the plugs. So I'm going to be reading 2 new pieces tonight, ones that Olivia hasn't heard before, which is very rare since she's usually the sounding board for all my new pieces. So this first one, fun fact, Olivia and I are constantly asking each other, hey, what's your address? And then we never end up sending each other mail. And true to form, Olivia, I wanted to send you a birthday card, but I haven't yet. And in general, I think that the pre-made sentiments from cards usually fall flat. So this is perhaps what one might see inside a birthday card if poets were in charge of writing the insides. So it's called Birthday Card. Before I sealed this envelope, I spoke life into the spine of this card, whispered all of my hope for you into it, whispered all of my love for you into it. And after all the cake crumbs have been wiped off your fingers, and flower bouquets wilted in their cloudy glass vases, and sing-songs faded into your pillowcase like a memory, I hope that you will open this card and hear the faint whispers of my happy birthday to you echoing off the paper like a cardstock seashell or a leaf-winged mockingbird, wishing you the best of days today and every day. All right, so my second piece is an ode to one of my favorite Leos who happens to have a birthday today, and it is called Lioness. Lioness. The sun's grown out his lion's mane again. Can you see him shaking out that white-hot collar while he roars bright at the new day? Leo's caught his eye for a while now. He likes that she can match his own gaze, look him right in the eyes, and suddenly he's the one seeing spots, seeing her fire, her carnelian pride dazzling the blue sky. What a powerful, radiant presence. What a present to be graced with the glow of a lioness, for your shadow to be born from her light. Happy birthday!
Wait, those were amazing. Can you send those to me so I can sit with them?
Yes, I will.
Later. Yeah. Mary Grace, what an awesome gift. Thank you. The flowers today were awesome, but the poems just put a little special cherry on top. And you should go into the greeting card business because that was awesome. I am in love with that. But Mary Grace, thank you. Thank you for donating. Thank you for everyone that's donated.
This on. This was a really lovely, lovely time. And now I'm going to eat my pizza.
Oh, I love that. Okay, let's give it up for Mary Grace in the comments, and let's bring on Abby. Let's just keep this show on the road. Abby is a poet. Hi, Abby. Abby is a Providence, Rhode Island poet, and we met through an open mic I was hosting here. And you look awesome, and thank you for just being the best. And I am in love with your poetry, and I know everybody else is going to love it too. So I'm going to go and let you do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Olivia. I just wanted to say quick, happy birthday. I met Olivia when I had just moved to Providence about a year ago, and she was really the person who welcomed me into the literary community here with so much warmth and openness. And I'm really grateful. And I'm really grateful to be here. So I'm going to read 2 little poems today. One is a pre-quarantine, one's a post-quarantine, or during quarantine, I guess. Okay. This is called Stacks of Bones. Today, I yawned and I stretched, and I caught a glimpse of my ribs in the mirror. Tired, reaching wings. Oh my God, are we all just stacks of bones, balanced one on top of the other, bumbling about, wondering what it is that keeps us together? Pressing a coffee cup against my bird-caged chest, I remind my heart what heat is. I am just a stack of bones, trying to find the right, exactly. I am just a stack of bones. I just really like the way your particular bones stack together and hold on to mine. I am just a stack of bones, looking at another stack of bones, trembling in my ankles, wondering if you will stay long enough that I can count the bones in your hands. You lay your hands against mine, and you say, "You have such little hands." Why do they all say that? I think that every stack of bones I have ever let close enough to hold my hands has made sure I know that the bones in their hands are far larger than mine. I used to look down and giggle, as if I had never felt small in that particular way. But lately, instead, I turn my hands into rocket ships, pulled back and heading for a far larger target. Trying to feel destructive, trying to destroy the script that they all seem to hold before my hands. I am just a stack of bones, but this is my official announcement that my hands are rocket ships, and I am done feeling small in that particular way. Thank you so much. Alrighty, this next poem is a little one that I wrote in quarantine. For reference, I guess, I'm an actress primarily, and I really love Shakespeare. And this doesn't have a name. I hope it wasn't worth it that Shakespeare's son had to die for him to write Hamlet. Because as much as it does take our breath away, I don't think he managed to put into words all of that unimaginable ache. And I hope somewhere in all the rest, they're sitting together, and Hamlet asks, and William says no, and the rest is silence. Thank you so much.
Abby, thank you so much. Your poetry is transfixing, which is a word I just stole from my friend Jackie, who's texting me on the side about how amazing you are. And let's hear it for Abby in the comments. And I miss you, and I miss running into you, and I miss hanging out. And we'll have to sit in a park somewhere soon and just make googly eyes at each other. And you're the best and so talented, and let everybody know where they can find your stuff or support the things that you do. And
one thing that is new, we technically, our social media goes live tomorrow, but a group of friends and I have created a radio play Shakespeare company. So they're going to be released as podcast episodes. So our first play is A Midsummer Night's Dream. We just recorded it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, check us out. It goes live tomorrow. It's called Every Mother's Son Productions.
Awesome. Well, we'll be all over it, and I can't wait. Abby, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thanks. All right, we have one last poet before I close out the show with our final couple poems. Again, I've lost count. I don't know. There's supposed to be 30. Who the hell knows? But let's bring on Elias, who is another local Providence legend. Hi, Elias.
Hi, happy birthday.
Thank you. You're a pro. You're a professional. You're incredible. So I'm going to go and let you take the stage. You're the best.
Cool. Thank you so much. Donate to 826 if you can. I'm going to read two poems to close out the show. Well, I guess before Olivia closes out the show. I'm going to read a new poem, and then I'm going to read a poem from a book I just put out. Cool. I'm just going to do the thing. I'm just going to do what I came here to do. On the sonogram, I already had a bad attitude. Born into this world already side-eyeing it. Looking over my shoulder, owl-necked in the womb. confusing the mouth of a handheld machine trying its damnedest to perceive me. My first portrait. A breached baby. A breached privacy. The doctors told my mother I was a girl, so yeah, I do believe in psychics, or miracles, or God. I do believe in that God. That God's funny as hell. God of irony and tinfoil limb. God of honesty and the stage. That God is the same God that made my hairy ass. I was born a lady in a fur coat. God's funny like that. When I say I was born dead, I mean blue and unbreathing. Made a skin of my specter, a daughter revived in the shape of a son. An etch-a-sketch baby, a shaken image, an erasure poem. And God, when he made me, made no mistake. He only laughed and gave me a mouth and a voice too deep. Made me a baritone angel with unswollen tits and shedding wings. God's funny like that. When my mother calls me her son, I pretend she means her sunrise. Is there a night sky I haven't kissed? A star-filled mild rendered invisible by the city light? On the sonogram, I told the truth. Called myself a woman. Called the doctor's mistake a prayer. And God listened. But God told no one but me. God's funny like that. God's funny as hell. Thank you so much. I just put a book out. I did the thing. I'm an author now, which is an absolutely bonkers feeling. But it's called Heavier Than Weight. You can get it at gameoverbooks.com. I'm going to do a little shameless plug. This poem is called I Keep the Car Running. It's after the band Rainbow Kitten Surprise, which if you're ever looking for new music to dance to and cry to at the same time, listen to Rainbow Kitten Surprise. Cool. This poem is called I Keep the Car Running. I forget my name, and that's an act of self-love. I take a new one. And isn't that forgiveness? The government has only ever let me drive in the past tense. I am a highway of cars all stuck in reverse. Grief is a bad backseat driver. Trauma is a GPS stuck searching, a stoplight phobic of green. I am the object in the mirror. I am just as far away as I appear. You can leave it all behind, even the devil needs time alone sometimes. Today, I break the brake pedal. I skid mark my new name into the concrete. I white knuckle the steering wheel and pray to either God or the therapist I paid to play one. I keep the car running. I keep my bags packed. I don't want to leave, just don't want to leave last. I understand a red light like I understand suggestion. I understand people like I understand medicine. I understand the physics, but not the physical. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Olivia. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you.
You're wonderful. This has been a great show. I've really enjoyed watching the whole thing.
Thank you. Heavier Than Weight. I can't wait. And I got to get my hands on it. Game Over Books online. That's where you can find it. We'll make sure we get that in the chat and on all of our socials. And Elias, I miss you.
I miss you.
Elias is also doing, I miss you. I hope to see you soon. Elias is also doing poetry workshops on Friday nights with a sliding scale. Pay what you can. I'm hoping to catch the next one. I was a little overwhelmed on Friday, as you might imagine, planning this, but I am ready to do some writing, and Danielle's got me inspired to do workshops. So I think it's serendipitous, and we'll make sure people know about those too. So Elias, you're the best.
Good. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Why did I do this to myself? Now I have to now I have to read poems. What the heck? Everybody's so good and so talented, and I'm just like over here doing my thing. I'm gonna read a couple poems. I don't know how many I'm gonna do. I don't know how many till 30, and then I'm gonna do something special and new at the end. So I hope you'll stick around for a couple more poems. Sound off in the chat for all the other poets, let me know that you're still here, because it's just me in my house. With all of you though, which is awesome. So I don't know. Is E still here? E, I might be late to work tomorrow if you're still here. Okay, this is a poem I wrote. If you remember, also let me know if my audio goes out ever. I'm horrified now. This is a poem I wrote like 4 years ago. As you heard, Claudia and I went to the end of the earth during the Perseids meteor shower, which is happening soon now, tonight. It peaks tonight. I guess I was born during a meteor shower. And that night has always meant the world to me, because I feel like it was Claudia and I taking control of our lives and creating adventure for ourselves and not waiting for adventure to come find us. So this is kind of an answer to her poem and her piece earlier tonight. It's called Countdown. Or Count. I can't remember. Clearly I can't count. Ever. Okay. The miles stacked up as we chased down the night. Second nature to us then, but only the second time we'd gone. How far was it to the lighthouse at the end of the earth? How far to the ocean that night when the sky wouldn't stay still? Hours melted and so did the stars. Like honey, they dripped gold. I was surprised then how slow, how catchable, how long it took to slide across the sky just to explode. We counted the stars as the time ticked on. More silent burst as the waves crashed against the shore. How many did we count that night as specks of rebellious trash slammed into our atmosphere, broken pieces of sea glass with foxfire tails, always a little too close, never long enough. Blink and you'll miss it, the sound a star makes when it kisses the earth, like snow falling, a cat's tail curled, a sigh of relief as it burns. We drove home that night with your head out the window, trying to catch just one more glimpse. It didn't bother you then, eyes peeled up as the rain dripped down. One last star through the fog, one last wave, one last burn. Thank you. All right. Thanks. This is a poem I wrote about loving the desert but living near the ocean. I'm a desert girl in a coastal realm, living between layers of salt water and skin that sparkles from bits of seaweed left behind, raw, not from a dry heat, but from the sun reflecting off water too still for an ocean always moving. Where are the waves when they do not come? Where do they hibernate and grow and wait to take the shore back to the water piece by piece? Do the waves discuss how smooth they've made the rocks, beaten them down moment after moment and say, ha, you used to be so rough, so cracked and layered and monumentous, but look now, you soft thing, so soft that a little girl may pick you up one day and say, Daddy, look at how tiny and smooth this rock is. And she'll take you home in a pocket, away from a shore that was once yours, and into a tiny and dark jewelry box next to broken and once loved things. Look at you now, all soft and forgotten and out of place. Look how the ocean has changed you. Thank you so much. And I want to dedicate this to my friend Jackie, who made me love the ocean in a way I didn't think could be possible and made me see it in a new light. So shout out to you, Jackie. I'm going to do a fun one now, and then just one more, I think, or two more, and then I'm going to do that thing that I'm scared to do, but I'm going to do it anyways. And if you know me long enough, you can probably guess that it has to do with the piano and using my voice in a way that's not for poetry. Dropping hints. Thank you all for being here. This is a piece I wrote It's in the form of a survey. So Proma, you're not the only one doing like weird things tonight or ever. Always with you by your side. This is called an unrealistic first date questionnaire. And it's the questions I would want to ask somebody either before we were on a date or like maybe while we were on our first date. And I want to shout out to Taylor as well, who tweeted about doing a dating poem recently. And I was like, all right, I got to do one of mine. So this is an unrealistic or realistic, depending how you want to play it, first date questionnaire. How much of my Twitter account would you read through before we met up? Would you judge me for ordering a vodka and soda water with 2 limes? Would you consider yourself emotionally available? Please list your previous relationship experience in reverse chronological order. How many times have you deleted Tinder? Are you open to the idea of loving me? What time were you born? No reason, just curious. It's like not a birth chart thing or whatever. Would you consider yourself brave, wise, impatient, controlling? Check all that apply. On a scale from 1 to 10, where would you prioritize finding a relationship? Are you open to loving me? Has this answer changed from before? Do you expect this answer to change in the near future? Have you ever ghosted anyone? How often do you text back? Have you ever accidentally spoiled a movie, show, book, or other entertainment series for someone, and how often has it happened? On a scale from golden retriever and white picket fence to a tiny home on wheels, how important is tradition to you? How large is your heart? Is there room for me? Will there ever be room for me? Is this room something I could rent or buy? Will I have to renew my lease every year? Would you say you are clean or dirty? Do you think verbal and enthusiastic consent is sexy? Are you open to the idea of loving me? Are you brave enough to love me? Are you allergic to cats? Thank you. That's that. Hear it in the comments for my survey. I'm gonna just check the private chat for a second. Oh my God, incredible. I'm gonna read 2 more songs and then sing a song for you, if that's okay. Sing, what did I just say? I don't know. The tequila's kicking in. I love you guys. This is the best. This is a poem I wrote that started with a John Green reference and no longer does for no reason other than it just didn't make the cut. And this poem turned into a song, not one that I'm going to do unless you ask enough. But something I've been thinking about a lot is what I thought 30 was going to look like. And I don't know if, I mean, I don't think this year looks like anybody thought it would. There's no flying cars, for one, which is a joke my dad was probably making in his head already. But I don't know. I didn't know what 30 would look like. I think growing up, you think 30 is so old and wise and ready and adult. And I think now that some of us are kind of here, you realize that it's awesome, but in different ways than you thought when you were young. And I've been reflecting on that a lot. But this is a poem that I wrote about falling in love. I fell in love the way I always swore I wouldn't, cursing the very nature of love and the way she grasps at your veins, and you're never sure if she's fixing what's wrong with you or playing the strings of your heart like a 5th grader learning the violin for the very first time. All screams and joy and scratching and wonder and illusion and the way we don't yet know that practice and practice and practice and practice is necessary and strange and hard and full of resistance, yet somehow gets us closer to one goal after another until we make up another and another, always needing something to reach for, like your thigh in a crowded bar, or secret cigarette kisses behind that telephone pole, or the way you looked when you didn't want to leave my bed that night. And the morning that followed when I felt so sick and you only laughed when I was laughing at myself. And I expected you to fade in the morning light, but you were really there, not some solid illusion the moonlight creates like Beethoven in the way his sonatas became soundless, but the way in the morning I still felt, and I'll keep feeling, everything and anything, scared and confused and too much and not enough all at once. And it's all in the way we fall to our knees, or in love, or in pain, or overwhelmed by the music we make for the first time when we're in 5th grade, where we know if our mouths make this shape and move our fingers in this way, we can make something beautiful that didn't exist before. Thank you. And I always think of a lot of my friends that are music teachers when I write that poem. And I've been thinking about all my friends that are teachers a lot lately. And I wish you all strength, and I'm here for you, and see what happens. But something special about music teachers. I think there's a few in the chat tonight. I'm getting emotional. This poem is a little bit longer, but there's actually a lot of music teachers in the chat. I seem to attract them. Megan, Charlie, Danielle, Laura, if you're here. It's an incredible, I'm surrounded by an incredible community of so many talented people that I just don't want that to get lost on tonight, and I won't stop talking about it. This is a poem. I was reading a book called How to Do Nothing, and of course I had to write a poem about it because I can't do nothing even when reading a book about how to do nothing. But it was a poem, it was a quote, and the person that, and Andrew, piano teacher, and theater teacher, and history, Jesse's here, Jesse's a history teacher. I could go on and on. Teachers are the best. But the quote, there's a quote in this book I was reading called How to Do Nothing. And sorry, there's a low flying helicopter or something that's going by. But the quote was leave me but a little to myself. And it's a poem from a famous poet that I can't recall. Sorry, should have done my research. And I looked, and the quote really meant a lot to me. And it resonated with me, leave me but a little to myself. And I interpreted it different than the poet meant it. I think the poet meant it as like leave me alone, but I interpreted it as leave me but a little to myself, like leave some of me left. And it inspired a whole lot of feelings that I'm going to read for you. All right, leave me but a little to myself. Leave me but a little to myself. Allow me to keep the parts of me we both like best. To grasp them is impossible, like trying to get the tide to stay. To give back all the shells and rocks and fallen sunglasses lost to the waves. She eats and she eats. She eats dead whales inside dead squids and spits them back to the shore and hangs a don't touch me sign, leaving us to cut the pieces until they no longer threaten to bloat and explode. Leave me but a little to myself. You ate and you ate until I was left to myself, designed a be back later sign and hung it on me saying, do not touch yet. I am trying to find the pieces I lost to the sea. I am trying to find the sun behind humid and sticky days. The summer eats and eats at my patience. She whispers in the winter, you're hungry for sand. You're hungry for shore. I'm the shore in the rain, muddy and swallowed, rocky and dense, waiting to be soft and wanted under your feet once more. A crow can be trained to come when you call, but a seagull has no god but nicotine trash between washed up seaweed, fated to be a lush bath bomb, salty and fresh, lemon and zest. Who said you cannot find the ocean when trapped between land? I found the ocean inside these four walls. Seashell against my ear, and I could hear her breathing. I could hear her crashing as she reached for the shore, and she said, come back, come back, come back. Come find the parts of you that drifted like wood. Find it and renew it. Hang it on a wall for others to say, wow, where did you get that? An artist, you'll say, the hungry ocean taking back her land. When the continents broke apart, could you hear the ocean scream as she filled the empty space? Leave me but a little to myself, she said. Leave me but a little to myself, or I will take what little land there is left. Thank you. Thanks. A seagull has no God. That is also one of my favorite lines. Can I say that about my own poetry? All right. Thanks, everyone. I've been sitting at my piano this whole time. If you recognize, let me know if you can hear this. And if you can hear me speaking, I didn't try to do this with headphones in, so sorry if like it's not like when Steph plays Taunts in the horror show. But yeah, so I'm gonna sing a song. I hope. I don't know, we'll find out. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. How's this? Too loud? Too loud? Too loud? This is my quarantine song. And I was blocked on writing songs for a really long time. And singing in front of people, I don't know why. It was just one of those things. I've always wanted to do it. I've always been a musician. I've been playing piano and flute since I was like really young. But I don't know. It was just this thing that I couldn't do for a long time, or I wanted to do it, or I blocked myself from doing it. And I took voice lessons a long time ago and kind of fell off and focused on other things, and then started a literary magazine. I don't know why. And yeah, anyways, this is a song I wrote that sometimes I go and I take my poetry and I turn them into lyrics, but this started off as just something I was writing. And the lyrics here are kind of inspired by being alone and being in quarantine and all the complications and complex emotions that come with that. And in the way that we justify certain acts of self-care, whether they're good for us and sometimes not so good for us, and what it means to love so fully, and sometimes it's a leap of faith in that way. And it's also celebratory and all these things. And I am so overwhelmed by tonight. I feel like the lyrics aren't in my head, but I think they'll come when I get into it. So this is called Too Deep. Light every candle in this goddamn house, call it self-love. And pour every drop from every last bottle, call it self-care. And stay in bed for far too late and say it must be fate. And is it too late? And is this our fate? So drink up the stardust and call it a must. Say you must have me and yet never call. Is it too much? Am I too much? And stand by the ocean, call it forward motion. Down by the water, just a little farther. Is it too deep? Is this too deep? Drive every street in this goddamn town, say I'm just fine. And scroll through every app on this damn phone, call it what it is. And stay in bed for far too late and say it must be fate. And is it too late? And is this our fate? So drink up the stardust and call it a must. Say you must have me and yet never call. Is it too much? Am I too much? And stand by the ocean, call it forward motion. Down by the water, just a little farther. Is it too deep? Is this too deep? So drink up the stardust and call it a must. Say you must have me, yet never call. Is it too much? Am I too much? And stand by the ocean, call it forward motion. Down by the water, just a little farther. Is it too deep? Is this too deep? Thank you. That's it. That's the show. That's the song. That's my 30th birthday. That's a wrap. Where's Proma?
Dressed in my my concert gear.
Is that so nobody can see you cry?
Yeah.
You're tear blockers.
That was so beautiful. I know I heard you sing that song once, literally when you did a trial run, and I, as you recall, lost the ability to speak, to do anything. I almost cried. I cannot spare the moisture, but it's very beautiful. I love that song. And everyone is yelling in the chat for you to like put it online, put it on Spotify, put it on, I would say maybe Bandcamp so you can make more money off it.
It's true. Bandcamp is where it's at.
But consider.
I don't know if Jacob Marine is in the back somewhere or here, but Jacob has kind of been my songwriting buddy. As you can probably tell, I have a lot of poetry buddies here, but Jacob Marine has been one of my songwriting buddies, and he has been by my side. And I have like a lot of songs, a lot of original songs, and I think I need to channel the way I felt about 30 with the way I feel about putting out music, because it doesn't always look like what you thought. And I think I'm ready to figure out how to record in my home and put out maybe an EP by the end of the year. Charlie Larson, I know you're in the chat. If you want to help me pick out audio equipment, that would be great. That's where I'm at.
Charlie is very much in the chat. That was, well, how do you feel? Because you casually mentioned before this about how you like started a lit mag, because, and slightly as a distraction, but also like you just did that. You like decided to start a lit mag, you did it. And I think one thing that everyone here can agree on that we just like love and respect about you, there's a lot of things, but like when you have an amazing idea like this, when you feel something in your gut, you just do it. You just go with it. And that's what I love the most about seeing you perform the song like live in front of people right now, is that you're really good at it and you had a good idea and you just freaking did it. I don't know. I don't have to. I can swear the babies are gone.
Babies are gone.
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's my Leo Gryffindor nature, but something that always drives me is just, as I think we've seen tonight, people have feelings. 1, 2, people want to share those feelings within their own feelings, and that is the place that I approach all of my projects. And I think we kind of had this conversation when we did our fan to creator panel with Black Girls Create for Harry Potter and the Sacred Text. Yes, I just dropped all of those names. And we, it's hard work. I'm not going to sit here and for how many people are here and pretend that it's not hard and pretend that it's not hard work, because I never want to overshadow what anybody does, from that kind of starts in grassroots. It is hard work, and I hope everybody recognizes it. What Talia does for mass poetry is hard. Translations are hard. What Taylor did, jumping into a live stream that she knows nothing about, is hard. Publishing a book is hard. But it's worth it. It is worth the work. It is anything that you want to do and you want to accomplish is worth the work. And I will always be here to cheer anybody on and to help. And you are too. And that's how I've always felt. So I think I'm going to just approach music and creating in the same way I've approached 30 years of life, which is just to do it and try to do it the best that I can.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful note for us to end on, and just like a great sort of summarization of your birthday and you. And we all love you so much. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
This is perfect.
This is perfect. It's full of surprises, full of so many wonderful poets. Keep an eye on the Facebook group, the chat. This will be on the Wizards in Space YouTube forever, so you can come back and watch it and relive these.
Comment.
Like, comment, share, smash that like button.
Smash it.
I don't know what else to say. I'm gonna go read all the comments, relive this. I want to give a couple quick shout outs. One, Hannah Husking has been doing all of the back end stuff and pulling people on and pulling people off and making sure our names are up and making sure you all know how to donate to 826 Boston. No, not Boston, but some of the donations will go there. I also found out secretly that my company is doubling donations to 826 Boston. So I might make a secret donation to 826 Boston. And if anybody wants to donate specifically to 826 Boston, just shoot me a Venmo and I will double that donation. But I don't know how much we raised. The one thing about working with 826 and them setting us that link is that it didn't have like an amount, but when I will reach out to them and I'll ask how much we raised tonight. I'm sure it's a lot, because I was hoping everybody would donate $5, and it seems like people have donated more, so I'm sure we hit
the thing is back. The link is in the doobly-doo. Riley put it there. Thank you, Riley.
Thank you. Shout out to Riley.
Thank you to everyone. A lot of people donated. A lot of people talked about donating. You could still do it. The stream is going to end, but you can donate forever.
I love you all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for everybody for coming. Thanks for experiencing this. Thanks for believing in this weird idea I had for my own birthday. I love you all.
We love you. Happy birthday. Hannah, take us both back.
Take it down. We're done.